This is a video on quadratic equations, about solving quadratics by factorisation, where I might have to do a couple of steps first of all before I can begin to factorise. Here's my first example. Can you see what the issue might be with this? Well, to be able to factorise and solve a quadratic, it has to be equals to 0, and this one quite clearly isn't. I've got this equals 3 on the end, but this is easily resolved by just taking the 3 across to the left-hand side of the equation. And of course I can tidy this up slightly as x squared plus 3x plus 2 equals 0. And now I have that crucial equals to 0 before I begin to factorise and solve. Watch out for that. If you don't have your equation equals to 0, you do have to sort that out before you go any further. Pause the video now and see if you can factorise and solve this quadratic. In this case, my guide number is 2, which is factors of 1 and 2. And then for my final line, I'm going to end up with x plus 2 by x plus 1 equals 0. I let each bracket equal to 0, and I solve both of those equations. Again, let's just have a think about the visuals of this. I've got my parabola, I have my x-axis. I know there's 2 points where the parabola goes through the x-axis because I've got 2 solutions here. Which one's going to go where, do you think? Minus 2 is further to the left on the number line, so minus 2 goes in further to the left, and minus 1 goes further to the right. So these are the roots of the quadratic. So nothing majorly different here from the previous video, just that you need to make sure it's equals to 0 at the start by moving things over to the left-hand side if necessary. In example 2, we're being asked to solve x plus 3 by x plus 2 equals 2. This looks like we're nearly home and dry because we've got 2 brackets. Let's just let them both equal to 0. But there's a problem because you can see quite clearly it's not equals to 0 on the end, so I just can't do that. And in this case, it's not as straightforward as just bringing the 2 over either, because what's supposed to happen over here? Well, in a question like this, where I've got brackets multiplying equals to a number that's not 0, I actually have to start by multiplying the whole thing out. So how is that going to look? Well, don't forget, if you want to expand double brackets, you need to split up your first bracket so that each part of the first bracket is multiplying by the second bracket. Pause the video here and multiply this out, and then check and see if you're correct. Well, when I multiply the brackets out, I get x squared plus 2x plus 3x plus 6 equals 2. And then I can tidy it up to be x squared plus 5x plus 6 equals 2. But I still don't want that equals 2 on the end. So now that I've tidied everything else up, I'm going to bring that 2 across to the left-hand side. I still have a bit more tidying up to do, but I can see that I now have an equation equals to 0, and that's really what I wanted. So now I can proceed and factorise as normal. Just to be clear though, I did have to go through these steps first of all, where I multiplied out and then brought the number from the right-hand side across. The guide number this time is 4, and the factors that I'm going to choose are 1 and 4. So I'll split my 5x up, and I'll factorise. And my final line of factorisation is x plus 4 by x plus 1 equals 0. Then, as usual, I'll let each of my factors equal to 0. And so my solutions are x equals minus 4 and x equals minus 1. These are the roots of my quadratic. And again, let's take a moment to visualise what this means. So I sketch my parabola. I've got my x-axis. I've got 2 solutions, so I have 2 roots. Which one's which, do you think? Minus 4 is further to the left on the number line, so I'll put that for this point. And then minus 1 is further to the right on the number line, so it'll go there.